just an everyday, regular playground. Closed by the order of the state of Illinois. Isn't it wonderful? Hi, everybody. So, I'm out here and just wanted to talk to everybody for a minute about this movement, and wanted to make sure that everybody kind of understands this isn't my movement. You know, this is our movement. We are doing this. We are making this happen. We're putting this together, and we're the ones who are going to make this happen or make this not happen. So, you know, your involvement is more important than mine. My role in this, as far as I see it, is just helping keep us organized and keep the message simple and straightforward. And that's really about it. You know, the main thing that everybody kind of needs to do is just get the word out. You know, we need to let everyone know what's going on here. You know, this is not okay. This is against our constitutional rights, and we aren't going to put up with it anymore. So, you know, I threw out the first meme that caught fire or whatever, or caught a bunch of notice. So I do feel responsible for making sure that we stay organized and we do something that's effective on this. But that's about it. You know, my role in this is not much more than that above yours. You know, you and I are the same. We are citizens of this country. We are the ones who have to stand up for our rights. And, you know, we you know, I was joking with my wife earlier. We all thought this was going to be like a zombie apocalypse. That was going to be the big thing, right? But it's not. It turns out to be a little bit more of a Matrix apocalypse, where the enemy is not some, you know, slow or fast walking, depending on your brand of zombie, you know, brain eating thing. You know, it's the people in the Matrix who aren't unplugged yet. They're the ones who essentially are our enemy, and they are the people who will join us as well. So we can't fight them in the same ways that you fight a normal war right now. You know, this is a war of information. It's our job to inform people of their rights, inform people what has been done to their rights, what will be done to their children's rights, and make sure that that our kids and your kids, my kids, all of them, have a future as bright as we had, have the same chances that we had in life. Because without those freedoms, what does any of it mean? Hey, Jared. If we don't stand up for something, we'll fall for anything. Absolutely. That's for damn sure. They violate your first right, and if you let it happen, it will continue. It will. You know, we've even watched through this thing. You know, it started as small, and it has continued to grow. You know, they have taken more rights. You know, there have been a couple of governors who've kept it a little simpler. You know, leaving out the religious aspect of things, but, you know, and I'm not a regular church-going guy, but, you know, I still think that we need our religious freedom. You know, without that right, without that freedom, what are we? You know, we become a slave state to whatever state, religion or non-religion there is. We have to sit there and we have to obey and believe what they tell us to believe. Fuck that. That's not a country I want to live in or I want to raise my kids in. You know, so that's ultimately what this is about, is making sure that we have a right to religion, that we have a right to peaceably assemble, and that's the right we are going to be exercising on May 1st, okay? We're going to be peaceably assembling for a redress of grievances, as it states in the U.S. Constitution, in the Bill of Rights that is part of the U.S. Constitution. So that's what we're going for here. You know, there are many more rights that they have taken away. They've said that, you know, in some states, gun stores are not essential businesses while releasing felons onto the street. You know, I've read reports that there are drones out watching people right now to make sure that they're obeying social distancing. This is crazy. What the fuck? What country do we live in? Derek, class action lawsuit against the government might work as well. It might. Actually, I tried to go down that road first. I know that Tom Leland Taylor, the lead of the Albuquerque Tea Party in New Mexico, he went down that route. He got destroyed for that on the news media. And I don't know that it's going to go anywhere. And the problem I found was lawyers wouldn't call back. And ultimately, like filing a suit in Illinois anyway, for the Illinois, with the Illinois Supreme Court, and saying that it was an unconstitutional mandate. That was the best bet for it. But the problem is that most of those buildings are closed down right now. So there's not really anybody who's going to stop this or listen to it. We have to take that responsibility. We the people. And that's what this is about, is we the people, right? It's not about me. It's not about any one person. It's about us standing up and us saying we've had enough. We aren't going to take it anymore. And that's really where we're going for. Justin, most people have no desire to stand upon the natural rights that we are born with here in this country. Just because a virus is around doesn't mean the Constitution disappears. Abso-fucking-lutely. There is no virus clause. This was one of the things I posted on the page, on my page. The founding fathers were in the middle of a smallpox outbreak in the midst of the Revolutionary War. There are estimates that they were losing 10 people to disease for every one in battle. That's not something they're going to forget when it comes time to write the Constitution. So, you've got these guys who are intimately familiar with disease taking out large portions of their society, and they wrote the Constitution and they just forgot about it all of a sudden. So no, there are no clauses. There are no exceptions. The rights granted to us in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are without exception. And that really is the stand that we are taking as a group. We're a little bit separate in the means of states. And the reason I wanted it to be that way is because we want to make sure we hit the right target. Going to DC, which some people have suggested, the federal government isn't the one doing this. The state governors are the ones doing this. So we need to set this example and put this showing on in front of them, in front of the right people, and that's where, there's been a lot of things floating around for, gatherings today in parks, on beaches, city halls, libraries, stuff like that. Those are unorganized gatherings. And that was, one of the reasons why I stood up with this thing, is because we can't be disorganized. You can't just have a bunch of single people out there standing up. And that's other things that people have suggested. Let's just, go back to work. That's all fine. But what happens when you do that? What happens when you do that is simple. You get people who try to go back to work. Like we had that in Clinton, Illinois. There was a guy, I forget the restaurant's name. Owner of a restaurant anyway in Clinton, Illinois. He tried to stay open and let everybody else go. Nobody else had to be there. It was just him. Well, police came to his door, shut him down, and they threatened him, threatened his business. My father-in-law actually owns a business and owns a restaurant, and similar thing. He got threats of them taking his liquor license, taking his food license. You can't stand alone. Yeah, Brandon, exactly. We go to the state capitals, we unite, and we win. That's the real thing. We have to show a united front. That's what this is about. If we aren't united on this, we aren't going to get anywhere. So that's where I'm letting you know, this isn't about me. This is about us. So get together, figure out what you can do. I am going to post a link to a really good guy. He is a Second Amendment advocate. He's also an excellent business mind, and he's got a lot of good things to say about marketing and promotion. So I'm going to post his link down below. And after this thing, check it out. He does talk about some great ways that we can, not specifically us, but in general, that we can get the promotion out, because that's what we need. We need to get the word out as fast and as quick as possible to as many people as possible. May 1st isn't far off. So without getting this thing together fast, we really aren't going to be able to pull it off. So we need everybody's help. All of us need to be doing this. I'm out talking to other large groups. I just got off a call with a what do they call them? Medical freedom group. It's a slander to call them anti-vaxxers. It's like calling people conspiracy theorists. So, I got off the phone call yesterday with a really large group that has several groups throughout the U.S. And they are on board with this thing. Probably going to be doing a live video with them, three lovely ladies, and we're going to get their group to help out with this, because they believe in the same things we do. They see where this thing is going, and they don't want it to go there. So, we're going to tie together that way. There's another group out of San Diego that was already planning something, another group out of Michigan that was already planning something, and they're getting on board with this. So that's what we need to do. We need to talk. All of us need to find local groups that we can talk to that believe the same things we do. The groups that are going to believe the same things we do, your health advocates, your health free health choice guys. Yep, that's it. You got it. The Freedom Angels. Right on. And yep, the beautiful ladies, extremely intelligent, very active, amazing. And they're jumping on board with us, and I'm super excited about that. They believe a lot of the same things we do. Second Amendment guys, the NRA groups, that's another group easily will get involved with us because they believe the same things we do. Constitution first. Reach out to anybody in the Libertarian Party, anybody in the Tea Party. Again, those guys believe the same things we do. Constitution first. Some of the libertarians I've talked to, aren't as strict as the Tea Party guys, but still they tend to agree in general. The other group, if you're sitting there, talk to your pastor, talk to local church group. Who's that, Ramona? I think they had an earlier date planned. Are you combining to one date? Yeah, the Freedom Angels, they are going to do a couple of smaller events beforehand, but they're going to show up in mass on May 1st. So they definitely are behind doing one big showing on May 1st. I was talking to Tara from there for quite some time yesterday. And we're going to reconnect Monday, Tuesday, something like that to go over it more. Fantastic group there. So yeah, we want to tie in as many groups as we can. There's only one state right now that is not on the same date as the rest, and that is Michigan, and that's because they had a very large group already set and scheduled for the 30th. They're doing it because that is the date they're voting on this thing, on whether to extend those powers. So we kind of moved into their date to accommodate, because same thing. It's not, like I said, it's not about me. It's not about some vanity thing or whatever. It's about getting the mission accomplished. We want to make sure that we are accomplishing this goal of freedom, of getting the Constitution restored. And, we'll talk about that later, but this is just the first step. This is the first big thing we need to handle. After this, there are many more things we can go after. And I plan to keep going with this. And any of you who are on board, let's keep going and let's restore this country to what the founders originally intended. They didn't get to see their own dream in their lifetime completely. So we can make that happen. We have a chance now. It is possible, but we all have to get involved. We all have to be talking to somebody, talk to a friend, a family member, talk to a church pastor. That's the other big group, guys. Churches, the churches are affected just as much as anybody else. nobody's calling for these churches to like open up and hold, 3,000 person masses in the middle of this thing. That's not what we're saying. But if somebody wants to go do confessional in the middle of this, they should have that right. There shouldn't be a law against that. Easter Sunday here, we normally get together with friends and family. Why aren't we doing that? That's it's sad. It's crazy. Sarah, any alternate social media if Facebook starts censoring? We are working on that. We're trying to get a web page together right now. In lieu of that, we have a large network, so try to get a hold of any of the people in there. We all stay connected really regularly. We're going to be keeping together and keeping this thing going in the same direction, so that we can all be part of this. Brandon, I'm trying to find American flag masks. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Brandon. I love that idea of having the American flag masks. It's a nice showing. I know a lot of people are against the masks. I understand. I'm not wearing one now. I don't normally wear one. During this whole thing, the only time I did wear one was when I was helping out in a stroke rehabilitation center, because I do handyman water damage, stuff like that. That's my day job. And I was helping out at one of those. They're high risk, and that was part of their protocol, so I wore it. But I don't wear one normally, but for this thing, we need to be responsible. I understand a lot of you have something to say about that. I get it. There are many more reasons that I've taken into consideration that make it a good idea, than, just, I'm making a stand. I understand, but we need to keep the united front. That's the message we want to send. We want to send a message that we can be responsible. We don't need a nanny state. We don't need the government to be our mother. Fuck them. That we are adults. We can do this, right? Come on, guys. We need to stop being divided over the little stupid things. You don't like my hat. You don't like my coat. I don't care. It's not what it's about. We need to unite. We need to come together, okay? We're a group. We're a group of U.S. citizens. That's what we are. And we need to agree on that first. Once that's fixed, then we can argue over the little things, That's the important part. Let's see. Hold on, what do we got here? California had horrible governor who has already said he wants at least May 15th. Yeah, California's going May 15th. Virginia's gone to, June 10th, I believe, right now. Texas is talking about the fact that they are going to possibly take on sometime next week and start releasing a plan. They were already the lightest on the lockdown orders. So if Texas, one of the reddest red states, is only starting to talk about coming out of this, then the other red states will be a week or two behind them. And then the blue states will be a couple months behind them. Like I'm not looking to stay in this thing until July, August, September. In Canada, they're talking about that it could be 12 to 18 months. UK is passing crazy stuff right now. This is not what we need. Let's see, Brandon, check for bandanas on Amazon. Yeah, that was the second thing. If we can't get enough of the N95 masks, because the N95s are the only ones that are actually effective to the degree that they need to be. Other than that, like the doctor's masks, they're just as effective as a bandana. So, something is better than nothing. We want to show that we're wearing something to protect ourselves. And, quite honestly, I'll say it in this video. We don't know what other people are willing to do. And I'm not willing to risk other people's health that are gathering with me and standing with me. So I do want y'all to wear masks. I get it. It sucks. You don't like it. I understand. Let's squabble about that later. Let's see, but shell plants possible. Yep. San Diego has a good mayor who may act separately in favor of May 1st, as Trump has suggested. Los Angeles doesn't look so good. Maybe California needs to do Sacramento and Los Angeles. That's the plan. I'm trying to get a hold of the lady who had planned some stuff in San Diego to kind of combine that effort up to LA. I want them to get together as one united front, and everybody else go to Sacramento. That way we have two big showings in California. They have the population for it. If Illinois may change. Right now it's set for Springfield. We're kind of waiting to see where the governor's going to be, as to where that may be. There's word right now he's been hanging out in Chicago more. So if that maintains the same, we're going to keep it in Chicago. Let's see. May 1st, they will have discovered what we all know. Medication work. Everyone can get back to work is today. If you tested negative, because government, with our Constitution, what stands for. I support you. Awesome, Rudolph. Sorry. Rudolph, thank you very much for the support. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with this virus. I don't want to get into a lot of it. Somebody new watching this, it's going to be over their head. But yeah, death tolls don't look like what they've ever talked about. That's one of the things I've been preaching from the beginning. They've been using models from 1918 on this thing to try to force us into this lockdown. The model was Philadelphia, who held several 100,000 person parade, no protection, in the middle of the outbreak, versus St. Louis, who actually had complete lockdown orders. So using those models are completely bullshit for what they've been trying to use them for. It's nonsense. The San Francisco used masks, and they had just as low, if not lower, mortality rate than St. Louis did. So it's nonsense. The data's been bullshit from the beginning. We all know it. That's the ridiculous part. Kathleen, we can do this. Unite and save our freedoms. Abso-frickin-lutely. The united part is the key, right? Like I said before, it's not about me. It's about us. We need to do this. It's on all of us. We need to educate people. We need to talk to them where they're at to bring them on board. You can't be talking over their head, like I said in the last video. You go at some of this stuff that we all talk about amongst ourselves, and you're going to blow their minds, and they're not going to be able to have it. They're going to be thinking that you're just crazy, and they're going to write you off as crazy, and that's going to be the end of it. But if you get them handled on their fear first, make them feel safe, make them feel that they can make themselves safe, then we're good. Brandon, June 10th, crazy. Red, white, and blue bandanas. Yep. California said not only vaccine is available, or not until vaccine is available. Yeah, they've actually been talking about that across the world right now. And, I don't think Trump's going to go that way. But there's a damn good chance that some of these governors might. There's some crazy stuff going on, and they're definitely trying to get paperwork and things like that involved in this. And it's just crazy. Yeah, you never know if someone might be sent in. Exactly. That was kind of my point. The people will go to crazy lengths. Antifa has been known to sneak into other groups in order to cause disruption and make groups look bad. We don't want somebody to be sent in who is sick, get us sick, and then we're used as, oh, well, look at these assholes who got everybody else sick. We don't want that. That's what they did to the people in Florida. They tried to use that for people who were just having a good time playing in the sun. I doubt any of those people got anybody else sick. I don't know. It's whatever. But yeah, we want to be safe, right? Yes, standing 6 feet apart as we march, definitely doing that. We're also going to have some more guidelines coming out to the people in each state as we start to get closer to this, because we want to make sure that we don't give any reason for our people to get arrested, to get stopped, to end up in jail. We don't want to have any of that happen. This is a peaceful march, and each area has a little bit of different protocols as far as these things go. I know Virginia's crazy. I was looking at their protest, their peaceful assembly laws, because they actually have laws against this stuff. If you're over 20 people, you're not supposed to assemble unless it's spontaneous, which is what this is. So this is going to be a spontaneous deal, and we're going to be doing it in the way that each state can do it, so that nobody gets in trouble with this, that we get our message across peacefully and we don't get made to look like idiots. That's a major thing, because we want to bring more people into the fold, more people into the mission, help more people understand what's really going on and believe in their own constitutional rights. Let's see. Christine, I've read several articles talking about putting the app on our phones. They've talked about that. They've talked about tracking chips. They've talked about all kinds of crazy junk. It's, if you look at the Florida thing, one of the phone companies was tracking everybody down there. They released records for all the people that were on the beach out to the news stations, showing where people were. So your private records were released already if you were one of those people down in Florida, and the phone companies can already do that. So that's disgusting, and they're only going to push it further. That's all there is to it. Kathleen, hospitals are telling doctors to list corona as a diagnostic cause of death. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you watch the news conferences, the press briefings with Trump and his team. Even the lady doctor up there, she said the same thing. They're pushing that. We want to bring people up to speed with what's really going on with this thing, but you have to start out at a level that they can understand. That's my only point. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm just saying, talk about it when they're willing to accept it. First, you have to handle their fear. That's all. There's a group in Sacramento. Yep. Yeah, we have a group going to Sacramento. That's one of the major places. Probably the two groups, Sacramento and LA, are going to be the most important. We need to make sure that both of those are great showings. Let's see. Yeah, Virginia is crazy. Do we need a license to assemble? I don't mind saying we're spontaneous, but it'd be hard to convince of that if it was all over the web for weeks. No, we don't need a license to assemble. It's the way it's worded. If it's a current issue that's going on, then we don't need it. Yeah, Brandon, Martin Luther King, Gandhi. Yeah, that's what this is about. This is about standing up. The Martin Luther King stood up for a faction of the population that wasn't getting treated right, and he was their voice. I don't care if I'm that voice or not. I honestly think we all need to have a voice in this thing. We all do. Gandhi was great. I love watching the movies with him in it. Brilliant guy. Actually talked a lot about vaccines. Come to speak about it. So, definitely need to have all of us being a voice here. All of us coming together. Yeah, definitely, Eric. We got to have LA peeps. We got to show up and represent big time. Krista, preschooler, really want to support this. Shouldn't come with kiddos. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily bring your kids to this. If you feel safe in doing that, go for it. I will probably not be bringing my kids to this, just because you never know. And if something does go down and I end up getting arrested, I'd rather not have that in front of them. They can hear about that on the news and say, "Oh, Daddy fought for us." But I don't expect that to be the thing. We are going to be peaceful. We aren't going to be trying to have that happen. We're going to do everything we can to keep this from happening. The peaceful 2A march in Virginia accomplished nothing because the government is passing tyranny anti-2A laws. Not for violence. Yeah, Derek. No, I understand, man. the government is currently passing these things. Honestly, the reason why we're doing this so far out to May 1st instead of a short-term thing, and the reason why we're doing it a big thing is to send a message, and that's why it's also worded as a bit of a condition, right? So what we're hoping is that we catch enough attention and enough news, and these guys start to see we're serious as a nation of people, and we're not going to put up with it. So they don't even consider doing this. Otherwise, it's a little bit different than the gun rights, right? So the gun rights activists, what they're doing is they're going out and they're protesting laws that they're going to pass. They're going to pass those laws one way or another. We're actually peacefully protesting against laws that they are passing. We're showing up and doing exactly what they said not to do, congregating in groups of bigger than 10, right? So we're not supposed to do that, but that violates our constitutional right for the First Amendment to peaceably assemble. So we're just going to go with the Constitution and show them that we're going to keep going, and then we'll see where it goes from there. We'll see what happens. Kathleen, people are starting to understand what is going on. My Facebook feed has changed from mostly funny memes yep. Yeah, the whole vibe has changed. I see a lot of people now that used to be, even Eric, he was big into kind of, just keeping it business as usual, and because that's what he was doing. He wasn't letting this affect his life. He was not going to be the effect of this. And he's still running an extremely successful business, even in the midst of helping out with all this. So, huge props to you, man, for helping out and taking charge of this thing. Freaking awesome. And putting LA on the map there, for this thing. And, but that's just how it's changed. It's gotten to a point where people are fed up now, and we need to step up, all of us, and we need to stop this thing. This is enough. Let's see. Can't take them to the courts because they're all closed. Exactly. Yeah, that was actually the first route I went. The second route was, a petition on We the People website, the White House website. It's still there to remove the executive orders asking President and the Congress to do that. That didn't catch a whole lot. Please, if you're watching this, go on, sign it, do that. But, in the meantime, we're still going to do this march. It's not an either or, let's do both. We need a short chant or effective message to deliver. What is it? Our Constitution has no exceptions. Our freedom does not have exceptions. Those are essentially the chants. We don't allow exceptions to it. So that's the message, right? They are ours. They are granted to us by those documents, and we are willing to defend them. That's really the message. Many small voices equal one loud voice. Exactly, Phil. That's the big thing. Brandon, I don't care if I march alone. If it's a one-man march, I'm going. That exactly my feeling. This is no joke. Our liberty is at stake. 100% it is. And that was kind of where I was at when I just threw the meme together, is like, I'm going. I don't care if anybody else is coming with me. I was extremely surprised to see how many people were willing to come with me very quickly. The web page or the Facebook page has only been up for about 48 hours. And we're over 1,000 followers right now. It's crazy. Amanda, hey, what about a wagon full of cell phones where people who can't march can still be located there and talking on speaker? Yeah, we could probably work out something like that. I like that. That's an interesting idea. Karen, we need to do this at state level. Can't be a protest against Trump. That will work against us. Yeah, no, Karen, that's not the point of this. It's not, this is not a march on DC. This is not a march against Trump. Trump hasn't done these things. This is a governor mandate thing. We are going to the governors. In a few cases, it's mayors. So we're going to the people responsible, find the right target. We're not going to go to Trump and start attacking him for things he didn't do, because these orders aren't from him. Yeah, let my people go. Mike, yeah, nice. Eric, love it. There will be more than one march. Yeah, there will. There's already, like you talked about, Eric, in one of your videos that we posted on the page, there is a March 2nd one. It's less organized. It's kind of dispersed. It's all over the place. That's just what it is. So this one, I want to make sure that we're extremely organized, and this isn't the end. After this March, this thing isn't done. As far as I'm concerned, the American Revolution 2.0 is a thing that keeps going, and anybody who's on board, anybody who's willing to help get this country back full constitutional rights on all levels. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. We've had corruption from both sides in the past, and that's where I want to go with this thing. I want to fight for all of our freedoms. A little noisy. What is that? A helicopter? Drone or something? Anyway. Let's see. The news were captured by Hitler because they did nothing to rebel as a group for their rights. Yeah, and that's the thing people don't understand. The first thing I always get is, well, we're not there yet. We're not in Nazi Germany right now. They're just trying to protect us. That's what happened in Nazi Germany. That's what they believed then too. That they didn't just jump into being all of a sudden a Nazi state. The concentration camps didn't turn on overnight. It was a decade or more of propaganda and taking rights and taking more power for themselves until that's where they ended up. And that's the train we're on. I want to get off, we all do. Anybody watching this, anybody who's liked the page, that's what y'all all are into. So that's the thing. We do need Orion Brandon. We'll have to bump heads and see if something falls out there on that. Jews not news. Let's see. In my inbox, you're correct. He never said for the mayors of each state to do this. No. What about funding? Quite honestly, there is no funding. This is not a nonprofit organization. Hopefully, at some point, we become one. That's kind of where I'm going with it. Is setting something up with that, like a true watchdog group that has that in mind. But right now, this is a movement of the people, by the people. It's me and you, and it's us together. That's what this is. This isn't some, organization that can be bought off by big business interests or anything like that. This is us standing up. Yes, keep focused that the targets are the bad governors or mayors. We could do letter writing campaigns or support Trump in his suggestions of May 1. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with writing to Trump, hitting him up on his Twitter. That thing is overloaded. Do whatever you can, get the word out. I do plan that we are going to be sending letters to all of the governors that we're going to march against, probably a week before this thing, and then send copies of that to all the news outlets. Because this isn't going to be a shock. This is going to be a warning shot. And they need to know that we're serious as Americans. Let's see, Deborah, thank you. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for helping. Please share this page, share this information, share the date. Like I said, it's about us. It's not about me. It's about us. We together will do this. That's the only way it happens. One guy out here, even two guys or three guys don't make this happen. We as a country make this happen. That's the only way it goes. American Revolution 2.0 will not end after March 1st. It will continue. Yes, Eric, awesome. It is time to stand. Brandon, funding. Guys, this is a grassroots movement. Exactly. That's what this is. So anyway, final message, be talking to people. Like I said, get in contact with any local NRA, health freedom groups, get in libertarian groups, Tea Party groups, share this information. They will help share it. Talk to local churches, anybody around you, talk to your friends, talk to your family, anybody who doesn't, who is in fear of this thing, make sure that you're talking to them on the right level. Address the fear first, then you can talk to them about other things. Let's see, Eric, I will start making poster boards for the LA March next week. Awesome. Anyone who wants to pitch in with money, feel free. and pitch in, DM him directly. DM Eric directly if you're interested in helping financially. Also, if you're interested in helping him, organize this thing, I'm sure, he's going to have a big following out there in LA. So we need to make sure that we're supporting each of the groups as much as we can. I've put a couple of leaders in spots for different states. They're not the only ones. We all need to be doing it. We all need to be helping. Some states we don't have leaders for. So if you're interested in helping at all, please do. Brandon's stepping up as well. He's helping out to find more leaders, get them, trained on what they need to do right away. Just had a guy hit me up today. He wants to really help with doing some of the graphic design stuff for this, so we can get a little better imaging going, because what we've got right now I did on my phone in a couple minutes. This is nothing fancy. Time of day, for the most part, we're sticking with noon, your local time at every single place. I think Michigan is 9 o'clock, and we are discussing doing Florida, just because of where everybody's going to be coming from, possibly doing that maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. But right now, all of the events are set for noon, or the majority of the events are set for noon. We may slightly alter 1 or 2 here and there, but that's the general. Yeah, keep updated on the event, keep updated on the page, as long as we've got it. And like I said, we are working to move off of this thing as well. Shanda, my husband from Tennessee, was recently wondering why there was no outcry for our rights. So glad there's still real Americans out there. Yes. Honestly, that was my first thing, is why is nobody standing up for rights? I don't understand how this thing even got passed. The moment the executive order came out, I listened to Pritzker on the news, and I knew it was going to be, it was unconstitutional. And then I read it, and, it sure enough, it was. And, Ron Paul's come out with stuff since then. Several other people have. It's a lot. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Yours is 4 hours from Tampa, so you guys have a long state, long drive. We're not splitting you up like we are with California. So yeah, that's a little more reasonable drive time. Make sure everybody can attend. We definitely want to have the showing and whatever we got to do that. So anyway, guys, that's my message for today. Help out. It's about us. We're the ones who are going to build this thing. Nobody else is going to do it for us. This isn't some big business thing that's well funded. This is us. This is a group of people who believe in the Constitution, who are real Americans, who are patriots, and who want this thing to happen and want our Constitution restored. So thank you, guys.